Hello everyone, Nordic Beast here, and welcome back to the Shipyard. So, I got a special episode today. This is the world that I use for Glorious Adventures, which I figured I'd just show off like the layout and stuff, and especially the gas giant here. Now, I don't think I explained it in the episode that that's a gas giant. In fact, it's a specific star system that really exists called Epsilon Erie, as you can see here, Epsilon Erie. And the thing is, if you've ever recorded anything, you know that you do multiple takes. And I know in some of those I did mention it, but it didn't make the final cut and I didn't realize it. Which Epsilon Erie is about 10 light years away from our star system, and it's the closest star system that we're aware of that we know have planets. And it's a gas giant near the sun. That's actually the rough distance that Earth is from our sun. Also known as the Goldilocks zone. So I decided to put gas giant with an Earth-like moon, which this is actually only 90 kilometers, it's not full-sized. And then just several other smaller 20-kilometer moons. I don't know, I might add more later, but that's just what I have there now. Which, I noticed this the other day. Because this little moon, I know it's a mod, but I don't recall which one this is, has like an atmosphere on it, and it just... Ooh. Let's try that again. There we go. I like being able to see, like if you're on the surface of a world, being able to see all those. That looks so awesome. I gotta admit, the atmospheric effects in this game are quite nice. So, alright. Now I guess we'll get to what I've been working on. So, we'll go ahead and start here. This is the Thor-class command ship. Now, I've been holding out on the name Thor for something special, and I feel this is special. This is the biggest thing I've ever built in length and in overall mass, because the inside of this is like a big heavy armored tube. It's not consistent, it changes shape, but the idea I got for this was actually from Lord Wiseman, so thank you, Lord Wiseman. As I've mentioned before, he's been working on a big giant ship that I nicknamed the Whale Shark. I'm sorry if you can hear my cat urring at me in the background. But anyway, I got the idea from him because of that ship. And it's just this big multi-purpose ship. Now this ship really is more of a battleship. It's all about firepower and survivability, but it also has troop capacity as well as detection ability, but that's more in the modded version over there, which I'll get to in a minute. So I've also pitted this ship up against the pirate drone spawning carrier thing. I can never remember its name, but the one that actually spawns smaller fighter ships. And I mean, that's a tough ship. It's all heavy armor, it has missiles, it has Gatling, so on and so forth. The only issue I've noticed with this ship is as I come at an enemy ship, the turret AI shoots at whatever has a computer first. So the first thing that has a computer is this, is the camera there, and then it starts shooting at my guns. There's nothing else for it to shoot at, so my guns tend to shoot at anything random on that ship first before it starts shooting the enemy guns, which is irritating. But all it did was superficial damage to the Thor, and it did take out a few turrets, which that was kind of irritating. So, which, by the way, I have 8 turrets on the nose. I have 4 turrets, rocket turrets on either side, in these like little sponson wing things here, as well as a Gatling turret on the bottom. Just because it was very open, I'm like, could probably use some weaponry there. I have 4 interior turrets up here, as you see, and these are just for protecting against small ships and rockets. Just to really protect this bridge, which this bridge is only for flying, which is technically just a bridge. There is a command and control inside that is like a combat bridge as well, on the inside. So. Now back here, you can see we have 2 more guns on either side, so this thing is a total of 13 Gatling guns and 8 rocket launchers, and is ridiculously long. Lord Wiseman mentioned that it looks like a submarine, which does kind of look like a submarine. I did kind of go with a surface fleet look about it, like an actual like ship, but some interesting stuff about it. First off, I noticed, actually, if you take a look at the settings here, this was, today is Saturday, so just the other day we had an update. Here we go. Look at the spotlights. I have no mods. Pardon me. I have no mods for spotlights here. And it now goes up to 120 meters. Right, look at this. Look at how bright that is. And that's ridiculous but awesome. I need to tone down lights on my ships now because the spotlights are so unbelievably bright. It's kind of like a little sneak update that they did. Let's go ahead and shut those off. That is bright. And it only changed 1 or 2 frames per second when I turned that on. I know it wasn't influencing many blocks other than the nose, but still, they may have optimized that. So, alright, so also with this ship, as you see, it has 6 large thrusters on either side, on top and bottom. In the front, I only have 4, which is actually still adequate. On the back, I have 6 and a bunch of small ones, and I also have small ones in the wings there. As you can see here. Now, originally, I only had 4 large thrusters in the back, because I had a different shape to the tail of it. And I was flying it around right after I got the basic shape done, and I realized I could actually move sideways faster than I could forward. Or like accelerate sideways faster than I could forward, and this thing turns like a tank. It's just so slow. And Wiseman realized, he's like, "Are you coming at me sideways?" And look, well, it's faster that way. So I had to adjust it so that there was more thrust. So now there's more rearward thrust than there is in any other direction. So, all right, we're gonna do a quick tour of the interior here, which I have these 4 bays. Each bay is hooked up to a timer with flashy light. Originally I was going to put in a sound block, but I find them very annoying after a while, so let's figure. There we go. Alright, we'll start back here. All this is, which by the way, I like this from the most recent update, the highlight on the doors. That's a good idea. So this thing has 12 jump drives to get its 14 million kilogram mass from point A to point B. I had to make sure it could at least do a 2,000 kilometer jump. There we go. I can't get under here. And it's all run by these 3 reactors, which are, there's 2 layers of heavy armor underneath, as well as light armor, which just surrounds this whole thing. And there's a layer of heavy and light armor over there as well. We have 2 levels of these oxygen tanks, as well as these oxygen generators to produce plenty of oxygen for this ship. Head back in here. So obviously this isn't like the biggest landing bay, but I mean, it can hold sizable ships. My Valkyrie can fit in here. My Kraken dropship can actually fit in here. And of course there's 4 interior turrets for protection in here. Oh, here, I'll shut these off real quick. These are where the little wing sponsons are for the rockets, which is also the center of mass. So I put tons of gyros in here. There's also gyros in the back of the ship as well, but that's all the tubing over there for the rocket turrets. And we have timers and programmable blocks in here, and same on the other side. So this entire ship was built around the idea that every level I wanted to be able to reach on foot and not have to fly. So I have this stairwell going through the center of the ship that reaches every level. So let's go ahead and start on the bottom. This is the detention area. It's basically the brig, which has an interior turret, guard station. Which actually, come to think of it, I might put a small cargo container with some guns in there for, you know, worrying about these guys. Which these are just simple cells. I mean, there's not much going on in here. Maybe I'll put like an LCD in here or something. You know, give them some entertainment. And of course, they're on oxygen. Now, the reason this level is so short is behind that wall there are the large thrusters. And I didn't want to, you know, like make little pocket areas. So I was like, yeah, I'll just seal it off and use just this, because I don't need all the area in this entire ship. So, which actually, speaking of, I didn't even use this here, which I might. This is actually supposed to be a medical area. Since there's no beds in the game, I just put seats here. More as a recovery area. And then you have cryopods and the med bay down this way. Which every room has its own oxygen, or at least I tried. Either it has its own oxygen vent, or it has like these vented windows to make sure oxygen can get through. Which, just a little tip in the game, if you didn't know, oxygen can go through one block like this, but not two. So if I were to have this and then block sealing it off and then just another vent, it would not go through that for some reason. I'm not sure why. So this is the crew quarters, but it's also meant, because there's no way the ship would carry this many people, it's also meant as like a barracks area. So any extra crew that's on board can be carried back here. And extra cryopods. So this ship can actually carry way more crew than is required to man it. Pardon me, sorry, I just woke up and I haven't even had my coffee yet. Alright, so this is the command level, which, as you notice, there's also an interior turret there. So we will go all the way back here first. So this here, starting back here, is actually the captain's quarters. There's not really much in here because I figure if I do post the ship on the workshop, you can put whatever you want for your captain's quarters. But he does have his own cryo bay and oxygen, as well as an LCD you saw in there. And then you can decorate however you want. This is like a briefing room. I mean, it's pretty straightforward on that. And fly down here. So of course, this was the stairwell. And then this room here is the command and control, CNC. Which, as you see back there, just LCDs over the air vents. Now the modded version is slightly different in there because it has the graphical radar, which I'll show here in a minute. Alright, so this is another area where I wasn't quite sure what to do, because it pretty much just leads to the back of the ship, which, alright, back here first is more of like a maintenance area, because this is above where all the jump drives are, and the oxygen, and as I said, more gyros, and then several layers of armor. So there are some thin points in the armor, but it never gets any thinner than at least one level of heavy armor, but most of it is at least one thickness of heavy and one thickness of light. Did I just... yeah, I already passed where I needed to go. So, come back here. This leads up to the bridge. Shut that off. I was so happy with this design, which this also has its own oxygen. I wanted to make sure that I had a door just in case there was a hole shot in the bridge up here. It had its own oxygen that I could shut off, and then I could lock it off with the door. So, which is, as you can see, through several layers of armor, and here is the layer of heavy armor on the top. So, and then our total weight is 13.7 million. Fully loaded, it gets to about 14. Yeah, this thing does not accelerate or move very well. You see it turning here. But it's not meant to. It is a big battleship. More or less, it's actually better just to hold your ground against whatever's coming at you. And especially with these rocket turrets, man, they can put out 16 rockets in about 2 seconds. I mean, it's unbelievable. Alright, so here's the issue with this ship, is if you're in it and you want to get out, it takes a little bit. When I was building this, and I would be working, say, like on that bridge, Wiseman would be like, hey, come here and look at this. I'd be like, give me a minute, man. It takes a minute to get through here. Oop. Come on. There we go. Oh, it's this way. We got our landing bay. Come on. There we go. Now, some of my ships don't quite fit in these bays. Luckily, a lot of my ships are, I don't know, very round, I suppose, and not like flat and wide. Luckily, like the Valkyrie can just fit in there, as well as a lot of my other ships. But there are some ships that have like wings and stuff that do not fit in those launch bays. So yeah, that is the Thor. Alright, next up. Now, this ship I ended up naming the Dead of Winter. Now, the reason I named it the Dead of Winter, to me that struck me as a... what was going on? Oh, the bay's open. I didn't realize the bay's open. Whoops. Anyway, it struck me as like a band name. I like that name, The Dead of Winter. And I'm a winter person, so that's just kind of a temporary name I gave the ship. But if I ever use it for anything, of course, it'll have a different name. So that's more or less a temporary name. Now, this is a ship I will probably post on the workshop here soon. So, of course, we have the same landing bay configuration as on the Thor. Boop, boop. There we go. So, the landing bay is much smaller, but this ship is designed as kind of like a mothership. It has a large cargo capacity. It has 6 large cargo containers, 3 jump drives, 2 large reactors because it has 2 fully upgraded refineries, as well as 1 upgraded assembler, which that's more for emergencies. That's not really meant for, it's not a building ship. The idea was I read a book called Earth Afire, which is a prequel to Ender's Game, and it's about like the first Falmic War, which if you guys haven't read it or seen the movie or anything, it's the aliens that we fight in that series of books. So anyway, in it, there's, in the first book, Earth Afire, there's a ship called the El Calvador, and this is based on the idea of that. It's a mining ship that would find asteroids to mine, and it itself didn't mine. It had equipment on it that you would mine with. So the idea is this actually carries small drilling ships and whatnot in its bays, and it's designed to allow the crew to survive for long periods of time, and be able to do all your mining and basically be self-sufficient for long periods of time. So you can see all the... Wow, those are new sounds I haven't heard yet. Huh. I knew they added new sounds, but wow, I never noticed that. So anyway, yeah, you can see all the oxygen, the cargo containers, and everything in here. And this is also pressurized, which, if you open the doors, you can pressurize the bay, too, the landing bay. But yeah, this could also be used for, like, any kind of social events on board the ship, because this is, like, the biggest area. Now if we go through here, and here's the crew quarters, which is for up to a crew of 8, which, because of the other smaller ships, would be a reasonable amount of crew. So I also have these little areas in here for the gyros and everything. This thing handles like a tank too, but it doesn't need to handle any better. Now I've had several people spawn on the ship and immediately just go down here, and I will come in and be like, "You missed the bridge." Like, what are you talking about? So you gotta go around the cryo area up to here. Here's the bridge, which I like this bridge too. Now you can't really see forward, so there is a lot of cameras. There we go. Which, if you look at the top left, you can see which camera I'm looking at. So not only that, but if we go here, I also have the landing bay cameras. So this thing is just loaded. Now it does have 4 Gatling guns for defense. Actually, yeah, 2 million kilograms. So it's not like the heaviest or anything. Oh man, let's see. Spotlights. I'm kind of curious about this. Yeah, see, they're at 10 meters, which I think was the max before. Which now, oh man, look at that. It doesn't even want to properly render. They go so far. Something else I noticed, since I use like a lot of flashing lights, like look at that, where it doesn't quite render properly. So yeah, maybe the 120 meters spot, there we go, might be a little too much. Let's just say, yeah, let's say 20. That should be fine. Even that seems pretty bright. So yeah, I really enjoy this ship too. I think this would be very useful in the game. Which, by the way, both this and the Thor Vanilla, they don't come with any mods, but I'm about to show you a modded version of the Thor, which doesn't have too much at the moment, but it does have some important features. Which is this? Yeah, this is it. So first off, I would like to say somebody finally put out a guided missile mod fix. So the missile mod works again. Yay! The guided missile mod, I mean, which I absolutely love. Turns out the original missile mod every week that Keen Software House would put out an update, it would break the code for the guided missiles. So they had to update it every freaking week, which I wish Keen would just add a guided missile in the game, or missiles. Which, I mean, on their list of things to do is more weapons, so I'm hoping that'll be it. Now this here is also, I believe, the turrets and guns, turrets and batteries. I'll have to look it up and put the name down below. Which, here, I'll show you. Come on, G menu. There we go. Are these. As well as this one, and these two adorable turrets here, and this one. It's all these little turrets, which are quite cool, and I have a lot of Raven Bolt stuff in here, which I wasn't going to really show today, but of course I love everything Raven Bolt does. All his mods look vanilla, and they fit a very interesting niche. So I replaced the rocket turrets with vertical launch missiles, and then I put a targeting turret up here, you know, for, you know, targeting with the missiles and all that. Which I saw a guy post, well, after I used the targeter, that's all my guns would shoot at. They wouldn't shoot at anything else, which if you read the original mod, that's part of what it does. It's a suggestion target for your guns. So, which, by the way, these guns are a little twitchy because the targeting's in the middle, where the AI targets from, and with the guns on the outside, sometimes it'll target at something and won't think it's being blocked by an object, and would, like, say there's a target here, but its guns are technically here, so it'll start hitting a target. But I really like them though. They're powerful. They're good against just about everything. They fire in 4-round bursts. So, what else? Oh, I put one of Darth Biomech's little, what are they called? Laser communications dish, which these have much longer ranges, because let's face it, the laser antennas are ridiculous. They have a shorter range than the actual antennas. Why? Why? That's ridiculous. The laser antennas, its only advantage is that it doesn't show up for everybody to see, but its major disadvantage is only to one target, and then it's a limited range. And not only that, the laser can be blocked. So if a ship flies in front of it or something, or if somebody decides to just put up a wall in between, I mean, that could be pretty rough. So, all right, now this is the holographic radar mod, which I will happily show you guys. I love this mod. This is another mod that I believe should be in game. I mean, it actually looks good, and it works really well. So, head up here, and oh, not this level, next level, and just head into the CNC. Come on, and as you can see, there's the planet. There's us, which this is at a 50-kilometer range, and down there you can actually see the colony that I landed at in the series, as well as my little drop pod that landed down there. So yeah, and that's pretty much it. That's what I've been working on lately. Now, my last Shipyard episode, I talked about working on my atmospheric lifter, which I will. DHR Mike has a design that I would like to see first. Open up you. Which he claims can lift 7 million kilograms to, you know, as well as its own weight, to a high altitude where its ion thrusters can take it up into orbit. So I would like to see this first and maybe use that as a basis for a design. He says it's not very pretty looking, but I mean, I can always take a concept and, you know, make it usable as well as appealing looking, or at least I try to anyway. But anyway, that's it for now. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please hit that like button. I'll see you guys next time.